Right now, we are tracking Tropical Storm Alberto, the first named storm of the 2024 hurricane season. Good afternoon. I'm Cheryl Mercedes here with Sherman Chow. We have team coverage for you, guiding you through the storm with crews live in Galveston, Surfside, and Corpus Christi.
Meteorologist Kim Castro tracking the impact it'll have for us here. So, Kim, what's the latest?
Yeah, this isn't a tightly packed system, so it's sprawled. The impacts extend through a wide distance. Heavy rain along the Mexican coastline, an outer band being pushed into Corpus Christi, and then this particular band feeds right into southeast Texas. So we're seeing quite a bit of rain throughout the entire area. Harris County is being lit up with a gamut of rain. So the green is light, the yellow is moderate, and the pockets of red signal some heavy downpours. We're seeing that along the Beltway from Fairbanks down to Janita, and along the coastline, some cycling heavy downpours have been ongoing the last couple of hours. In fact, for Clear Lake, this type of rain has already resulted in some reports of low-lying flooding to homes and to the roadways. That's going to be something we monitor throughout the next few hours still, because look at how that rain band extends into the Gulf, and that continues to track towards the northwest into southeast Texas. Looking at our neighborhood weather network, Duval Street for Galveston Island picking up more than 3 inches of rain, close to 3.5 inches for Pirates Beach, and we still could accumulate an additional inch or two. Some localized areas could see more than that. For that reason, we're under a flood watch throughout the evening. We've got other impacts from Tropical Storm Alberto. I'll show you how long they stick around when I see you next here in a couple minutes, guys.
All right, thank you, Kim. Boy, it's become a very busy afternoon here in Houston and Southeast Texas. Once again, we've got Dr. Mike Brennan. He's the director of the National Hurricane Center with us this afternoon. Mike, first of all, pressure's dropped a little bit in the storm. You guys upgraded it to a tropical storm earlier today. Tell me about what you're seeing with the storm, specifically its evolution and the forecast track.
Yeah, well, certainly since yesterday, the storm's become a lot better organized from a, tropical cyclone perspective. We had that big broad center yesterday. Today, the circulation's tightened up. The pressure's fallen. We have some shower and thunderstorm activity much closer to the center, in addition to everything you're seeing up there into southeast Texas. So we do have a tropical storm now, but the system is not really strengthening very fast. That's very typical for these big, large systems. Even if the pressure falls, the pressure gradient's not that tight near the center. It's really spread out. So we still have maximum winds of about 40 miles per hour. Those might tick up a little bit in the remaining 12 to 18 hours the system has before it moves inland over Mexico. But in terms of the water impacts, the rainfall, the coastal flooding, the tropical storm force winds, that's really not going to change very much here as we go through tonight and into tomorrow.
And Mike, you mentioned the coastal flooding. So let me paint the picture of what's going on here right now in Galveston, Jamaica Beach, Pirates Beach, down to Surfside. We've got roads near the coast and even a couple of blocks inland that are inundated with high water, not just from the rainfall, which is now coming up to 2, 3, 4 inches on the coast, but the surge, the rise in water. Tides are running 3 to 5 feet above normal. So the coastline is really taking a heavy impact here. And we've got this heavy rain band coming across the heart of Houston right now, and all of this from a tropical storm, a minimal tropical storm that's 500 miles away from us.
Yeah, that's really the case. Minimal tropical storms, weaker tropical storms, the impacts are all on the water side. And we sort of had this double whammy here of the storm surge inundation. Again, seeing that 2 to 4 feet above ground level, especially in the Galveston Bay area. You combine that with the heavy rainfall and you get that sort of total water where you get the ocean water, the Gulf water, and the rainfall flooding, sort of rainfall combining together to create a worse situation than you would have from either one by themselves. So, we're going to have to go through one more high tide cycle tomorrow morning with these elevated water levels before they start to recede. So those coastal flooding concerns are going to continue through the night.
That's a really good point. So one more high tide cycle. That's when the floodings were tomorrow morning. Then things should begin to improve. Mike, Dr. Brennan, Director of the National Hurricane Center, thank you for giving us your time these past 3 days. It's really been nice to have you here. Guys, back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, David. Taking a live look now over Galveston, courtesy of Saltwater Recon. Strong winds right now, and some parts of the island are still dealing with significant flooding.
Oh man, look at that lens, and look at this. Maybe a wolf, maybe a coyote running through those flooded roads down there off of Galveston. KHOU 11 viewer Alexis Villarreal sent us this video. She says this is in the area of 61st Street and not something you're gonna see every day.
Yeah, a popular area too out there in Galveston. Marcelino Benito joins us live from Jamaica Beach on Galveston Island. And Marcelino, what are conditions like there now?
Well, Cheryl, the winds have been pretty strong most of the afternoon. I can tell you right about 2 o'clock this afternoon, heavy bands of rain started passing through us. We're finally catching a break, but we're here in Jamaica Beach, and you can see what folks here are dealing with. These are roads and front driveways just completely covered in water, and I'm going to point you to that black car in the distance. You can see the water dangerously close to hitting the doors there. Now, we spoke to a family here who was visiting from Indianapolis. They were vacationing here. We caught up with them when they were making their way on foot back to their vacation home. They'd gone to get some groceries. The water's so high they can't drive their car out, so they're basically trapped, they told us. That's, of course, in Jamaica Beach. Now, all along Galveston Bay, though, we've seen coastal flooding from Seabrook to Kemah, even Clear Lake shores. The water has risen several feet. Some roads are impassable. Roads closed off by authorities in several of those places. That family we talked to in Jamaica Beach, hopeful the water stops rising soon.
I got a brother that lives in Baytown, so we come down here to visit with him, and we rented a coastal house, and we've been driving back and forth to see him, you know, so we got trapped down here today. I mean, just water everywhere. I mean, it's coming up on our back porch. We got a lower apartment in the house we rented, and it's really close to getting in there.
We should note Jamaica Beach isn't even under a tropical storm warning, but it is under a coastal flood warning. Back out here live, you can see more of the situation here in Jamaica Beach with the water rising, dangerously close to getting into that door right there. The one story we're hearing from everyone here, even people vacationing, people that live here are used to this sort of thing. People from out of town are not. They didn't expect to need to leave to be safe. They thought the storm was so far south it wouldn't have a major impact here. But of course, they were wrong. We are seeing significant impacts here in Jamaica Beach. We'll have another live update for you coming up at 5 o'clock. Back to you. And Jason, my colleague Jason Miles, I should mention, is also working the story. He's about 25 miles south in Surfside Beach. Jason, what are conditions like where you are right now?
Well, parts of Surfside right now inaccessible thanks to this tidal surge, an issue that is ongoing. Take a look behind me. That is the Gulf right there from where all of this water, sea foam, even sand is flowing into some neighborhoods here in Surfside. We've been from one end of this municipality to the other today, including on the intercoastal waterway side of Surfside, where the only very top of an abandoned vehicle was visible poking out of the water over there. Now the west end is where the most impacted homes are. You can only reach some of them by boat if you're trying to get to them in the first place, but it appears many people knew the weather was coming and they left in time. Keep in mind, many of these places are weekend homes or vacation rentals. Meanwhile, first responders and others spending this federal holiday closely watching Alberto.
This thing hasn't even hit land yet. So until it hits land, we don't know what we're going to be expecting.
That's the mayor of Surfside. Another high tide expected early tomorrow morning, so that could mean additional tidal surge. One longtime resident was surprised to see it this high, considering how far away Alberto is centered. So far, I'm told there's only been one medical emergency here in Surfside, and that was unrelated to the weather. Unfortunately, right now, the rain has ceased. Reporting from Surfside, Jason Miles, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jason. Man, that sea foam behind him, too. What a mess that is. All right, now we are seeing storm issues at both airports. According to the FlightAware Misery map, so far there have been 38 flights delayed and 1 cancellation. As always, be sure to get to the airport early and check in with your airline in case of any flight delays.
All right, for now, let's get a check on the roads with Junior Caruso. Junior, any trouble out there?
Well, right now we are seeing the roadways are wet in most areas. So anywhere you're traveling, especially to the south and where we're looking here on the West Loop, these are the southbound lanes. Now, normally at this time, the roadway is moving slow on the West Loop, but it is moving much slower now. You can see these drivers are way under the speed limit. That is due to the wet roads. Spray back from the cars in front are causing low visibility. So wherever you're heading today, just make sure you give yourself a little extra time, leave a little extra space between you and the vehicle in front of you, and get to your destination safely.
All right, wise words there. Thanks, Junior. You can track the storm yourself with the live radar on KHOU 11, our app. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen to download it. We'll have a live report from Corpus Christi for you in the next half hour.